You're watching Good Morning Kentucky with Lee Cruz, Haley Harmon, and your forecast with meteorologist Dylan Goday. ABC 36 on your side.
Welcome back. We're talking kids with Dr. Caitlin this morning, Lexington pediatrician, Dr. Caitlin Iddings.
That's right. She is the doctor on call each and every week. And so today's topic, we're talking about new RSV vaccines and antibodies that are in works for this fall. So Dr. Caitlin, great to have you with us this morning.
Good to see you.
Okay, so let's talk about these. RSV is obviously something a lot of parents know about, and it can be really, really scary for parents. So this is good news that a vaccine and the antibodies coming.
Yes, absolutely. And so the vaccine so far is only approved in the elderly, so 60 and older, which is the other population that gets very severe illness and hospitalization and sometimes even death. I mean, it kills about 10 to 13,000 elderly a year.
Really?
Yeah, so those are the two extremes. You know, you have infants that get really sick with it, and then
Senior adults,
senior adults. And so it's so far just approved in that age range, and then they are working on approval in pregnant mothers, with the thought being, and it has panned out, that if you do that in the last trimester of pregnancy, mom makes the antibodies, passes it to the baby, and the baby has protection for the first 6 months of life.
Okay.
And so that was approved, not unanimously. It was shown to be very effective. They were saying, oh yeah, this is good. You know, these babies get these antibodies. There was a little bit of a safety signal that made it not completely unanimous, kind of like a 10-4 vote on whether it should be approved based on just like a slight increased risk of possible premature births in those populations that were getting it. But really, when you looked at the data, it was kind of like 5-point-something% compared to 4-point-something% with the placebo, and then like the general population, most premature births are going to be like 10%. So it wasn't even as much as the general population. So they're trying to decide, is that something they want to move forward with to start getting these babies some protection in the fall?
Okay.
You know, I know RSV has been around for a while, but it really came to the forefront after COVID came around, it seems.
And so it has
Why was that?
Yeah, it's been around for a very long time. First recognized in the 50s. So I mean, this has been like 60 years of us trying to figure out how to not only prevent it, but treat it. And it was, like I said, this weird phenomenon where it's always something that's there, especially in the winter months. It's always the #1 cause of hospitalization in babies under 6 months of age every year. But then we had COVID, where no one was mixing and no one really had it for a year. And then after everyone kind of opened back up, it just kind of exploded. It started coming earlier. So far, the good news is this year we're not seeing it now, because the past 3, since COVID was kind of like, okay, we're going to open back up, we've been having RSV in July, which is unheard of, like really sick babies in July, it coming early, it lasting longer. And so far this summer, that hasn't happened. I feel like I need to knock on all the wood. And we're expecting probably maybe a more normal RSV season, maybe it hitting in October and lasting through March, which is kind of what we would expect normally.
Yeah. And then lastly, so vaccine or not, these antibodies are not, more to come on that in the fall. How can parents best protect their children?
Yeah, and so the other thing is, so that's the vaccine for adults, and then there is a monoclonal antibody that has been approved for infants. And so there is one that has been on the market for a long time, but it's super expensive. You have to dose it every single month to kind of help give immunity to those babies. And so this new one called Beyfortus is one that you do just one time, and it's supposed to last the whole season. That has been approved. Now the question is going to be, will insurance cover it? And is it going to be more for just those really high-risk babies that were premature or have underlying lung disease or some sort of chronic illness?
Okay. Some good news when it comes to treating and preventing RSV, that's for sure. Dr. Caitlin, good to see you this morning.
Yeah. All right, stay with us, guys. More coming up in just a bit. Don't go anywhere.